Hello world, my name's Don and welcome to my channel. This is my space where I am just sharing with the world some of how I go about using DxO Photolab 5 to process some images. This sort of started because this year I've been working on a photo a day project, and as I was just sort of processing through images, I thought to myself, there's not much out there for DxO in terms of seeing how other people do things, so why not share a little? Why not, pull some of these up and show some of the things that I'm using in DxO. Disclaimer, just an ordinary guy. I've been using DxO for a while, so I've got a pretty good knowledge of DxO, but mostly it's just about sharing, just about creating a space for people who are interested in looking at how someone else might go about something. So with that, you will see on my screen my image for today, one that I actually shot. Is there a date on it? I don't know. Don't see it there. I'm sure there is somewhere. Shot it quite a while ago though, day 44. Yeah, so, and I'm on late 60s now, so a while back. Anyway, shot this, but I wanted to, I had been meaning for a while to come back to show sort of something about the processing, because I've got a couple of things in this in terms of local adjustments, but also using volume deformation, which is something that will correct for, so this was taken with a pretty wide angle lens. It's 18 millimeter. Is it at 18 millimeter? Yeah, it's at 18 millimeter on a full frame camera. And of course, stuff near the edges can get stretched out. And DxO's got a really cool tool for handling that. So it was something that I used a little bit on this image, and I thought it's a little something different, maybe something people would be interested in seeing. So let's dive in. Oh, I should say that this is more or less where I'm headed. If I can click on this, and this is where I'm starting. So let's go ahead and have a look. So first of all, just looking at the histogram, and I see that it's quite spread, and all the way up to some quite high highlights. I'm just going to pop on highlight warnings. Yeah, I can see there that there's even just a touch that have maybe lost a little bit of detail, but I don't mind too much. So that's all good. I'm going to go ahead with smart lighting on this. Essentially, I want it to be a dark-ish image, because it was taken after the sun, was kind of well on its way down, and there's obviously still a bit of ambient light lingering around, but it was getting pretty dim. And I really wanted to get these, I went out looking for a nice sunset, wasn't forming, so I thought, what else can I do? And I thought, hey, I want to try one of these trailing light sort of photos, and a nice little bit of road here, so I went for it. So smart lighting, that picks us up a little bit. Basically, all I want is to just have a little touch of detail in things, and I might just pull back on my highlights a little bit, just to sort of take care of that a little bit more. I'm also thinking, and I always approach Clearview with caution, because it can really easily get overdone, in my opinion, and how I feel about it. But what I'm thinking is that it might first of all add a little bit more to the sky in this case if I give it a little bit, and I'm also thinking it might pull out a little bit of detail through here. So we'll pop that on, and that's going to be probably higher than I want it, but it's it is a starting place. But maybe just bump that down a bit. See where that leaves us. A little before and after. Turn that off, turn that on. Yeah, I think I like that. It's definitely adding some texture in the sky, but not too much. I think given the mood of the photo, I'm okay with that. Contrast. Yeah, I might pop that down a little bit, but I'll leave some of that micro contrast that it wants to do on. I think it again helps the details just a little bit. I think I'm going to do too much on this in terms of color. It shows, you know, it was quite late. If I bump that up, it might compensate, but I kind of like the bluer tones, to be honest, so I think I'll just leave that as shot and leave it with that sort of sense of blueness about it. Leave the color rendering, I'll leave all of that. So let's have a look. I still have a couple of things to do, but let's have a look at that volume deformation. And you'll see this particularly, and the reason that I used it on this one is this mailbox is kind of pulled and stretched out. And I just thought, hey, I maybe can make that look a bit more mailbox shaped. So that's just over here in the geometry space. And right down at the bottom here, we've got volume deformation. And I no doubt have this because I have Viewpoint installed. So I mean, you know, DxO is a bit funky like that. You've got Film Pack, you've got Viewpoint, that both add things in. And I was thinking the other day too, some feature I had commented, oh, I thought maybe it came with Film Pack, and then later I thought, no, actually, that comes with Elite. So you know, I've been using it for ages, and I've always had Elite, so I kind of forgot that there are two different stages there as well. So you kind of can unlock more and more features as you go. So how did I go? I did that, and yeah, pretty much straightened it up. I don't use this heaps, but it is quite neat when you want. There's a couple of settings here. This is on diagonal, and it looks like it's done the job nicely. And then if I put it on horizontal, vertical, what do we got going there? So that straightens the road out a little bit more on horizontal, vertical. And diagonal, I think horizontal vertical is doing a nicer job. Honestly, like I said, I don't use it heaps, and I'm not really dived into the finer points of this one. I mostly just give it a click and have a look at the result that I get. I do have some extra controls potentially down here. But yeah, I'm actually feeling pretty good about that, just like it is. So I will leave that. That's all good. Just gonna pop on crop, because it often does one thing about the volume deformation is it is shifting things around, so it can impact things that way. So I'll just put it on the auto crop, let it take care of that. Now a couple of other things. I also want to just bring especially some of the highlights in that sky down a little bit more. So I'm going to pop over to local adjustments, and I think I'll use one of the control lines for that. So I'll pop that on there, pull that down, kind of putting it near-ish the horizon. Grab the control point. I mean, I especially want to get the lighter stuff, don't I? So I'll kind of come up here into some of this lighter space and plunk it there. Maybe even pull that down a touch more. Show mask, see what I get. Yeah, that's probably about right. I might tweak it depending on my results here. And no, I wasn't going to do exposure. I was just going to do highlights. Pull those down a little bit. Again, just especially up top there, you know, it wasn't as it was getting late, there wasn't a lot of heavy, thick highlight in there, so I think that's nice. And another local thing I want to do is to the road, actually, and I think for the road, given that it's reasonably straightforward, just going to wait now. Make sure I do plus. There we go. I nearly didn't do plus, which would have just continued the same adjustments. So I'm just going to paint down on the road, have a peek here. I'm on opacity 25. Just undo that to start fresh. I want it all the way through. Just going to rough out the road here. And I may erase based on right now. There we go. Just bring my size down a bit. That'll do. Okay. and bring it back out again. Sorry, I came out of my local adjustment space. And I'm going to raise my highlights on this road a little bit. So especially what I'm hoping to do is impact the white lines a little and see what that does. Maybe give it a bit more kind of pop, so to speak. Maybe I'm just going to crank those up till I see the effect. Oh yeah, so a lot of those are actually sitting in the midtones. So I'll do that because again, I think it's nice if those white lines just pop a little bit to help them separate there. I'm just curious. I'm going to play with blacks here. See what I get. That's obviously too much. What if I darken them down? Yeah, no, I might go up just a touch, like not much. 3, 4. Yeah, there we go, like that. So I'll just do a before and after. This is, since I'm on local adjustments, this is only going to be the local adjustments that are before and aftering. So you can see that road just gets a little bit more sort of contrast and pop to it. And it just brings that sky down a touch. I might even bring that sky down a touch more. I might, so let's go back over to the sky adjustment. Just bring the whole thing down a touch. Again, not too much at all. Excellent. Come out of my local adjustments. Just pondering for a moment if there's anything that I had been thinking that I've forgotten to do. I don't think so. I think that that's pretty much it. Just out of curiosity now, I'll just do my comparison. Interesting. I noticed the road's quite a bit bluer in there. I wonder if I did a little bit of a twist the first time. What about the sky? Yeah, I went a little touch darker on the sky. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm just going to pop over here and see if I can see what's making the road bluer. So I can pop into my locals. This is on the original that I had done. So I did those. And those do not appear to be moved. Interesting, so it's not there. Let me check my color temperature, 5120. So it might have a slightly lower color temperature. It does too. Okay. So I had lowered the temperature a little bit, which is bringing out, yeah, there we go. You can see those blues. Interesting. Nice. And actually, you know, and tastes, every time you look at an image, you might think slightly different about it. I think I do like the blues. I'm going to just maybe bring them up a touch. I'll put it on 5200 or something. But I do like that overall blue tone. I think it's good to keep in mind too, like, you know, you kind of do this to taste. Like the smart lighting, in some of my other videos, I've turned it down or said I'll avoid it because it can be too much, but sometimes it's absolutely fantastic. So you take a scene like this, and if I put that on medium, you know, look at if indeed you wanted to bring back detail there, there's heaps of detail there to grab, and that pulls it up pretty nicely. And it does it in a way that doesn't, you know, wash your image out too much, and it's also careful of your highlights and whatnot. And even if you take that up to strong, you can find even more. So it's really cool in terms of sort of dialing in how much you want to pull back into the scene. And even that said, I might just give that a touch more, and I might just say, no, that's not going to be the right one. We'll grab the shadows here. Maybe just bring a hint out of those shadows. Nice. I just like it. It doesn't need to be totally visible, but I like the little bit of texture in there. Awesome. So that is my image for the day. Hopefully something of interest there. Thanks for watching, and hope you come back to see me again. Cheers.